Good morning. Weather's cooled off, so I thought it was a good opportunity to come out and dig a few more hellebore seedlings. And we've already done some. Julie did some 2-3 weeks ago, and we'll show you those in a minute. But yeah, there's a lot of seedlings here. It's just a case of scratching around, removing a few leaves. Some of them are right in against this primula, which I will leave, so we'll move up a little bit, find some more. There was some really nice big plants in here. I've dug those. I want to split them. I got a mixture of hellebores. Have a really nice root system. That's a really nice little plant there, so that'll transplant no problem at all. There are a number in here. There's another nice one there. I don't know the colors they're going to be, but we'll grow these guys on. And then we also have some hepatica self-sown as well. So there's a couple there. Actually, there's a nice little group of them there. So these are all hepatica seedlings, self-sown. I've taken the the mature plants out again for splitting. More hellebores. Get right underneath them with your trowel, pop them out, take off some soil. You can take all the soil off, it doesn't really matter. And there's another one. Oh, stuck in the root system. So again, nice root system, perfect for transplanting now into some plug trays. So back in the prop tunnel with the shade on at the moment. Don't really need it on, but I'm not taking it off today. So we use a commercially available compost. It's got a lot of fiber in it, and obviously for the woodland plants, mostly woodland plants that are growing, the fiber works really, really well. And I have yet to find anything that is not absolutely loving this compost. We've not used it before this year. It's a mixture of peat, perlite and wood fiber, and then the little brown bits you can see are a slow release fertilizer. Not much fertilizer in the compost today because we're only pricking out. They don't need a lot of fertilizer, but there is a little bit in there which will sustain them for the rest of this year. So plug tray, pretty standard. Fill it up with your compost. Just level it off a little bit and then just give it a couple of taps. Do not firm it down. Does not need any firming at all. It's a soilless compost and that's all it needs. So we'll get rid of the debris. Find my pencil, which I use for a dibber. Get a few seedlings. Take the soil off. And it's pretty straightforward. It's no different than pricking anything out. That's not a bad little seedling. These have got a really solid stem, so I can hold these quite comfortably by the stem. I'm not going to crush anything. They've been outside. They're relatively hard. And again, all we're going to do, pencil, make the hole, pop it in, get it down to roughly the level it was at, and that's it. So we'll do a couple more. And then a little bit of soil on that. You can see the new roots on this guy. So we have the new roots forming here with the long tap root. And again, hold it very gently, pop it in the hole and just push the soil around. And that's pretty well it.
And here are some seedlings that I dug out from the stumpery about 3 weeks ago. All standing up, looking really good.
So once these are pricked out, once I fill all the trays, they're given a really good soak, and then we put them into our shade house, and we'll take you in there in a minute and we'll show you the rest of the ones that Julie pricked out, and they've done really, really well. So again, mixed seedlings. We'll have to grow these on now for 3 years before they flower, and at that point obviously we'll see what we've got. So yeah, we'll just take you into the shade tunnel just to show you the ones that Julie did earlier. They are, as I say, they are looking really nice. So we've got, oh, there's 4 trays in here. Let's move these primula out of the way. So yeah, in the shade house, 70% shade on the net, and it has got a temporary poly cover, a white polythene that we keep on for the winter. This will be coming off very soon now, but it's very cool in here. There's a good air movement in here, and obviously for hellebores, woodland plants, as you can see from the state of the pricked out seedlings, they are doing really well. And then yeah, just a few other bits and pieces. Everything is looking really nice in here. Much prefer the cooler weather. The woodland plants do not particularly like the heat. My hepatica are looking really nice. Stock plants mainly on this bench. And then on the second bench we have splits that I did early spring, seedlings that are 2 years old, and then seedlings that were pricked out early spring of this year. They may look a little dry on the surface, but hepatica typically do not want to be kept overly wet through the summer months. They are not putting any growth on, they're not putting any root system on. The root system is put on pretty well as soon as they're pricked out for a little bit, but their main new roots are put on in the fall as the temperatures drop. Tomatoes or tomatoes, whichever way you want to say it. I'm going to take you through all the stages that I go through to produce our tomatoes. So I'm going to start with the compost. I use the same compost for every single stage of the tomatoes. The only thing that changes is the fertilizer. Now you've seen it many times, I would imagine. The little brown bits, the little blue bits in the compost, that is actually fertilizer. Many people think they're slug pellets, but they're not. They're fertilizer. It's a slow release, time release. These are time release for 5 to 6 months. So over a 5 to 6 month period, they will release the nutrients in these little coated pellets. They are heat and water sensitive. So the warmer it gets, the more they release, because obviously at that point the plant is growing faster. Also, it needs a certain amount of moisture to get it to release efficiently. Now, with anything in pots, after a period of time, you will run out of fertilizer, and at that point, I do actually supplement feeding, but we'll get on to that in another day. So, just to show you, seed. Pot, tap it down, soilless compost. Soilless compost does not need and should not be compressed. Somewhere here in my pocket I have my pencil, and I use the pencil an awful lot for seeding. So when I'm doing tomatoes, generally 5 at a time, not very deep. Let's find one of these if they'll come out. Now, as I say, these are very old seed. This is Moneymaker. It's one variety that we grow, oat variety, grown it for years and years. My dad grew it, my granddad grew it. So we'll get these out, and it's really just a case of drop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pop those back in. seal it up. And then I don't even put any extra compost in. I just run my finger very lightly over the pot, give it a quick tap, that's ready to go. Put a label on it, water it. Put it onto the heat if you're starting these early, which you really should be if you want a decent crop. And then give it a good soaking. So here we have some that were planted. The seed was put in around about 6 to 7 weeks ago. They were put onto heat and light. Now they've been off of heat and light now for about the last 10 days, still in the greenhouse, still fairly warm, but these guys are now ready for pricking out. So in fact, 2 of these varieties are new to us. We've never grown them before. So we have one called Sweet Pea Currant, and I believe they are basically the size of currants. The second one we have here is Hundreds and Thousands. Now we have grown this one before. This is a really nice one to put on the patio or on the deck. Hundreds and Thousands is self-explanatory. Lots of small tomatoes. You grow them in a pot, in a container. We probably get them up to about like a 10-gallon pot, and that can just sit on the patio, and it's a semi-weeping variety, but it just keeps producing for days and days and days. So that's a really easy one. No pinching needed on that one at all. And then the third new one we have here is called Gold Rush Currant. So it's another currant type. Again, not grown it before, so it'll be quite interesting to see what it's like. So I'm not going to show you all 3 of these, but I'll show you one. So again, yeah, these were started 6-7 weeks ago. They're not in my earliest ones. I have much earlier ones, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But these guys are ready for now pricking out. And how do I know they're ready for pricking out? I check the root system. I do not care what the top looks like. I care about the root system. A plant with a strong root system is going to support the top growth. These are ready. They need to be pricked out now. So we're going to separate those guys, and then we're going to put them into, I think it's about a 3.5-inch pot. And again, I don't mess around when I'm pricking things out. You get root damage, the plants can deal with it. So there we are. There's 5 nice seedlings ready for pricking out. Now, pricking out generally to me is the stage from growing the seed to putting into its first pot, planter or plug tray. Potting up is the next stage I'm going to show you. But let's just put a couple of these in just to give you an idea. Now again, I'll just bury these a little deeper. Again, I'm not too worried about how deep they go. Lightly firm the 4 corners of the pot. Top it up, tap it, done. No mucking around. And then pop it into a tray. So we'll do one more.
Can you just show us how deep you put them?
Yeah, sure. So again, that's how I hold it. Now, I'm not holding the stem. I have it between my fingers. Never, ever, ever hold any seedling by the stem. You hold by the leaves. So if you want, you can do it this way.
Turn it around.
By the leaves. But I do everything, and I do it that way. And that is actually just between my 2 fingers and my thumb. There is absolutely no pressure on the stem, because you will crush it. I don't care how gentle you think you are. So again, just suspend it over the pot, compost around. And as you see, it's a little high at the moment. I just press down at the corners, give it a little tap, and away you go. Now that's planted almost to the first set of leaves you can see, which are the seedling leaves. So we'll take that away and we'll give that a good soak. Okay, right, next stage, potting up. Now these, obviously, as you can see, are that much older. Now I'm really bad at putting dates on things. I guess again, just because I've done this for so long, I just don't bother. So I apologize for that, and I will make more of an effort to put dates on. But these, I can tell you, these have been, they were sown about 3 months ago. So with these guys, all I'm going to do is just take off the top rim. I'm going to put a little bit of compost in the bottom, and then I'm just going to bury it. I'm going to bury it to about here. I'm not taking any leaves off. I'm going to bury it to here. Again, fill it up. Now the fertilizer strength is obviously more for this size plant than the previous. little tap, and away you go. So this is Moneymaker, as I say, old-fashioned variety. Been growing it for years. Dad grew it, Granddad grew it. I grow it. We like it. It's reliable more than anything. And again, you can see a really nice root system. It's not overly root bound. It's actually almost, to me, it's perfect.
Could you just show the bottom of it, or the...
Yeah.
There we go.
So there's the bottom of the pot. They're not hanging out the bottom. I guess another good test, and if you're brave enough you can do it, is grab the stem on these and you give them a shake.
So it's okay at this stage to hold them by the stem?
This stage, yes, there's no, these are quite solid, so you're not going to have to do any damage to them at all. And like I say, if you want to be brave, give them a shake. That's got a really good strong root system on it. So again, I don't rake the roots out before I pot, and I do that on, actually I don't do that on anything I pot. Quick firming and away you go. So now we go on to what I call stage 4. These guys were sown, and I know exactly when they were sown. They were sown Boxing Day. It's a traditional day for me to sow a lot of early stuff. So my onions, my peppers and tomatoes always get sown Boxing Day. I've left purposely on these guys the side shoots to explain what is a side shoot, what is a sucker, and what leaves to take off and what leaves not to take off. Side shoots. This one doesn't have quite so many. It's got a small one. Let's pull that leaf up. It's got a small one at the base, and it comes out between the stem and the leaf. And then we move up, and it has another one here. Now that, literally, you put your thumb in, you put your finger against the stem of the plant, and you just snap it sideways. And then back the other way, and it comes out clean. The same with this guy here. You could just use your finger for this. You could just put your finger in and just turn it right over. Small one there, small one there. There is a tiny little sucker coming from the bottom. Just rub them out with your finger. If you take these side shoots out when they're small, you literally just rub them out with your finger. It's so easy. This one,
so this one's got a little bit of a yellow leaf at the bottom.
This one I will cut the yellow leaf off, only because it's turned yellow. No other reason. So, potting up is no different than any other stage of growing tomatoes. Again, the fertilizer amount will have been increased slightly. A slightly stronger mix. This guy, I would think, is pretty well in there. Oh, again. Now this one is a little dry actually, so maybe I should, oh no, it's not too bad. It is a little dry, but I'm not, again, not worried about that because it's going to get a really good soaking. It's not root bound. It could have perhaps been potted up 10 days ago, but again, I wanted to keep them. I wanted to do all this together. So all I'm going to do here is just rub off the top of the pot. I'm not going to break this root system up. These things will root out, and you can see as I'm touching it, it's not solid. I'm going to get it down a fairly good distance into the bottom of the pot. Well, not the bottom. There is a good couple of inches of compost. Again, fill it up with compost. Don't press too hard, a little tap, and then lift the pot and tap it around a couple of times. This guy then needs a cane. So we'll get the cane in fairly close to the plant. Again, you're going to hear some crunching, maybe. Don't worry, it's not going to kill the plant. It might break a few roots, but it's not going to be a problem. So we'll push that in. We use raffia. It's a natural occurring product. Used it in the nursery for donkey's years. And again, Dad used to use it, Granddad used to use it. Not going to tie it too tight, just enough to support it, just enough to hold it in place. And the beauty with this stuff, it will eventually, it just breaks down. So that we've got one in there. Let's pull that leaf that side. We'll put another one in just above this truss here. And tie that off. Now this is only I think it's only a 5-foot cane. So watering. Start with the little guys. I don't like using a rose for anything I've freshly pricked out. So I will just go around each plant, give them an initial settling in. You can see compost, that's solid compost. Now I'll probably put them back into the shade tunnel for a couple of hours, just let them settle down, because it is quite warm in the prop greenhouse at the moment. So I'll just let them go back in here, settle them down a little bit, and then they'll go in this evening. The bigger ones we'll use the bigger can for, and again it's the same deal, just give them a settle in first, and then a really good soak. That should, yeah, it's just dripping out the bottom, so they've had a good soak. And then we come to the big guy, and again it's the same deal with that, just a really good soak. Whatever you're watering, whether it's tomatoes, whether it's marigolds, doesn't matter what it is, the worst form of watering you can do is little and often. You must give them, every time you water, a really good soak, let it run out the bottom of the pots, let it drain out, and then let the plant dry off a little.
I'm sorry, this is annoying me.
What's annoying you? Oh, it's a bit of a wonky one. Let me turn it around so it's not then. Is that better?
That's better, thank you.
Okay.